Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nina. It's kind of crazy when Facebook and the internet and the Wi-Fi doesn't really work the way that we want it to. So ladies, thank you for everybody that actually jumped onto the live, but we're just going to have to be a little more creative. So we're going to do this pre-recording with the lovely Nina Venturella, and then I am going to post this shortly after in the group. So Nina, thank you.
Thank you, Rita. This has been fun. Getting to know you more and just helping you really become the expert influencer that you are meant to be, girl, because you are awesome. Anyway, guys, I wanted to do an interview with Rita because she is somebody that we've been working together now for about a month and a half. And I am somebody who works with coaches. I've been doing it for over 20 years, and I'm always looking for the up-and-comer, the next person who's going to really take the stage by storm. And this girl is not only gorgeous on the outside, but she's gorgeous on the inside. And she is somebody that you're going to want to get to know. She'll be your best friend, and she will do anything for anybody. She's amazing. So the more I got to know her, the more gold I got to see in her. And I call myself a gold digger. I tell everybody that because I love to dig for gold and people. But anyway, so we had a lot of fun. And so Rita's got some really amazing tools and techniques, things that she's come up with to help women, especially women, because that seems to be your niche, right?
Right.
Be able to get rid of the, old way of thinking, the old mindset. And you have some great tips and tools on how to do that. So before we go into that, let me just share a little bit more about Rita. Now, I'm going to say her last name, and I think I'll be okay with it. It's Rida Bakhsh. Yeah. And she's a certified life coach, mindset coach, mentor, and speaker. Rita's personal mission is to inspire, educate, and empower others to find their true self so they can live their best possible life. She says she is on a personal quest to help the woman she was. Now, you have a name for that. What was that name called?
Caterpillar syndrome? Is that what you're talking about?
What about the girl you were or something like that? What is that? Hashtag? Tell everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, my hashtag is I was that girl. And so thank you for leading into that. I am on a personal quest, right? So the work that I do, everything that my work is predicated on is really helping the woman that I was. And what that means, Nina, is I was that girl who was overwhelmed. I was that girl who felt like I was a people pleaser and I needed to belong. And I was in a state of stuck for so long. And even though on the outside, I looked perfectly fine because we all wear masks, right? We allow people to see a version of ourselves that we want them to see.
Yes.
So true, right? I was not happy. I was really overwhelmed. I felt underappreciated, and I wasn't a happy person. And fast forward so many years, we all have our personal struggles and our journeys and challenges. And based on all of that, now I am a completely different person. And I really want to help other women be able to get into their future version of their improved self so that they too can look back and say, I was that girl. I really want to help others because I took the scenic route and my route had bumps, bruises, potholes. I mean, you name it. But I want to help people because I have the map now. I have the map.
Yeah, and that's so important because you can fast track people from, diverting into the old ways, and you have some great, ways of doing that you've learned through, of course, like you said, the hard way, because we always have to learn the hard way. But that's why we go through those journeys so that we can help other people and take them on the journey with us. But they don't have to go through the hardship of the journey. They get to go to the good stuff, right? They get to go to the light at the end of the tunnel. And so that's what I love about you and your program is it really does kind of cut through all the junk that you have to go through to get to the other side. So can you kind of share a little bit, maybe some of your favorite tips or techniques on how you do that? And I do want you to go a little bit more into your story so that people can really understand, who you are, what you're about, and how you went from that place to this area of overcoming and getting to the other side.
Yes, I'd love to share that. So for anybody who's listening, for my ladies who are listening, stay till the end because I actually have 3 of my top favorite self-awareness tips. So my program essentially is a deep dive, Nina, into self-awareness, hardcore self-awareness. And before I give you an overview of that, let's kick it back where you wanted to know a little bit more about my story. So I call myself a recovering people pleaser. So if you heard me earlier, I said I was a people pleaser. So I finally learned the difference between people pleasing and unconditional love. And that's something I also talk about in my program, but a lot of times we blur those lines. And so me always wanting to be there for other people and always, you know, putting everyone else first, I found myself in a situation where, you know, I had a loved one that I needed to pick up. He needed a ride home because he was too intoxicated to drive. And me being my, you know, unconditional love person that I wanted to help and always be there, you know, sure, I wanted to stay asleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, but no, I picked up the phone and I went to pick him up. So my decision for doing that put me in a situation that was really unfortunate. I ended up walking into a bar at 2 o'clock in the morning, looking for this family member, and I walked into a bar fight, Nina.
Wow.
It was something you would see out of a movie.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Like it.
Oh my gosh. So I walk in and in frantic, right? I'm looking for my person. I look left, I look right. I don't see him. What I did see was a beer mug barreling at me so fast.
Oh my gosh.
Girl, bam.
Oh my gosh. And hit you?
It hit me. It hit me right in the forehead. Have you ever been hit so physically hard that it's knocked you to the ground?
No, but I've had some moments where I thought I was going to die and everything kind of goes slow and then speeds up really, really fast, right? Is that what happened to you?
Isn't that crazy? Like I saw it coming towards me, and even though it was really fast, it was that swoosh, whoosh, you know, that slow motion. And so when that happened, I mean, like I said, I was physically knocked to the ground and blood just rushing from my face, right? I'm in total disarray as to what just happened, and I crawl out on my hands and knees, just covered in blood. And the irony of that story is the person I was there to pick up, who needed a ride home because they were too intoxicated, drove me to the emergency room.
Oh, so, wow.
Yeah, the irony of it. But I like to tell that story, and I can actually tell that story now with a smile on my face because I'm so healed from that.
Yeah.
But it was things like that, and that's just one of the major things that happened along my journey. But that was one of the things when I realized it was an eye-opener. It was like a clock going off, like, what are you doing? No matter what I was doing, I was making different decisions, but I kept manifesting the same outcomes, Nina, the same outcomes. And although, yes, what I encountered was a freak accident, right? And not a lot of people can relate to being hit with a beer mug. No, but what you can relate to are the residual feelings that come along with that, right? So there was feelings of self-hate. You know, we talk about self-love so much in today's society, but I was, you know, I had all of these self-deprecating feelings and emotions. I didn't like myself. I didn't like who I was. I didn't like the decisions that I made. I had this overwhelming need to feel accepted. And I wasn't. I was so completely broken during this time period based on people's comments, family, friends, strangers, when they would make comments. I had 27 stitches down my face.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Avoided but you did a good deed for somebody, and that was because resulting of you being that people pleaser, always wanting to please that person, those people, right? I get it. I'm a recovering one myself, but I get it. Maybe that's why you and I get along so good, because I can completely relate on that people pleasing thing. You don't win on that. You just, it's exhausting.
It can be. It is very exhausting, and part of the problem is you don't realize that you're doing it. And you think that it comes from a place of love, unconditional love, and you think that you're doing what you're supposed to do. Like we've all heard the term ride or die, you know, yeah, I'm there for everything. But there is a difference. There's a big difference, and those lines get blurred. And as women, we tend to, right, put everyone else first and ourselves last. And so what I'm trying—
We're natural nurturers and caregivers, so that makes sense.
Exactly. And so what I'm trying to do here is actually help women to see that you're not alone. You do matter. You're worthy. Everything that you're going through and everything that you're feeling, it's normal. But there are ways to get better and to fix all of these things that you're manifesting and you don't know where to go or what to do. I want to help them. So with the work that I'm doing, with this program that I've created, I mean, there's multiple ways, right? But I'm so excited about the program because in this program, Nina, I'm going to take them on a self-awareness path. I created this fun model, right? Because a lot of the work that I do, like I said, is around self-awareness. So it's on this path, and we are going to walk through this path, and we are going to take women from the beginning of who am I? What do I want to be? What is my right next step? And by the end of it, they're going to have the answers that they're looking for. It's going to put them on a different trajectory.
So the whole name of it is transition to destination. That makes sense. So you literally take them from beginning to end, which is awesome. So
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to put on your teaching hat for a second and just, can you give us, I know, you know, you have a course that you're going to be sharing in a little bit, but can you give us a little something to kind of wet our whistle on something that you're going to be talking about or teaching on?
Well, let me give you an overview of it. So we talked about the self-awareness part, right? And so self-awareness is really, who are you? A lot of times, especially with my private clients, right? I like to ask this question because for so many of us, if I were to ask you, tell me about yourself. Do you know what most people say? Well, I'm a wife, I'm a mother. You know, they tell me their title, they tell me their experience, you know, what degree they got. Cross out all of that. Who are you? If we were to remove and strip all your titles away, what is true about you? What makes you tick? And along the years, Nina, something happens along the years, and I was guilty of it too, where, you know, when you're right out of high school, you're ready to check all the boxes, right? I need to get my degree, go to school, get married, have kids, white picket fence, dog, whatever, you name it. We check the boxes, right?
Right.
And then we're here now, and we're trying to figure out what our right next step is because we feel lost. We've become complacent. And so a lot of what I focus on is, like I said, is a deep dive into who are you? How are we supposed to make changes? And how are you supposed to know what the right next move is if you don't even know who you are? So that's a big part of the program, right?
And I think too, you know, the timing is perfect because look at what's going on in this world. There is so much disruption.
Oh my gosh.
Wrong. You know, they're grabbing at straws, trying to figure out what to do next, who they are, where they're coming from. They're losing their jobs, they're losing their businesses. That was their identity, right?
Exactly.
So this is the most perfect timing for this type of program because I think we're in that place of who we were and not who we are. And that butterfly syndrome. Can you explain a little bit more about that and how that works?
Yes, it's actually the caterpillar syndrome. So it's actually
sorry, caterpillar syndrome. We want to be the butterfly. Okay, caterpillar. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Right, you went to destination.
You're the teacher.
There you go. Yeah, so exactly. So it's caterpillar syndrome. And so it's a fun name. And basically what it means is that we're just kind of stuck in this cocoon, right? We're trying to figure out, we want to learn, we want to grow, we want to change, we want to be better. But what does that mean, right? What does that look like? And it's going to be different. So what's going to change for me is going to be different what would change for you or the next girl or the next girl, right? It's going to be a very personal, individualized path for you, but we want to get you out of the cocoon and into at least a clear, defined path of what your destination is. And to emphasize what you just said, you're absolutely right. This is one of the reasons why I really wanted to launch this program now, because of everything that's going on, right? The pandemic, the racial injustice, not to mention we all have things going on in our lives, right? I mean, losing jobs, losing loved ones, there's aging parents, there's so much heavy in the world. Yeah. And I really believe that this is going to help women who want to go to that next step. But the problem I'm finding, Nina, is that, or not the problem, but the struggle that I find with most women, when we talk about putting everybody else first and ourselves last, a program like this, they might think that it sounds great, but they're not ready or willing to commit because everybody else needs something. They need to be someone's mom, they need to be someone's wife, they need to be someone's daughter, employee. But what I want to encourage women who are watching this and who feel like any of what I said resonated with you, I want you to stop and think about it for a minute. This program is for the women who are overworked, right? You're overworked in every single role that you play, wife, mother, daughter, employee. Yeah. You're underappreciated. right? You come home after doing whatever you're doing all day, and then you're short-tempered. You're trying to constantly give from an empty cup. And when you do that, you're showing up haphazardly in every single role. And then what happens is you feel guilty about feeling guilty. And it's just this vicious cycle that keeps going.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's awesome. I love that. So can you talk a little bit more about your program and a little bit more how that's going to work out? Is it more custom? Is it kind of a group type of thing? What exactly is it that you're offering?
So this program, so I actually have a Facebook group, right, called Transition to Destination. And in this group, we talk about support, encouragement, empowerment, everything that I stand for, right? You talked about my personal mission in the beginning. And my biggest goal, my biggest mission is to make an impact on others. I want to shine a light for others to follow and teach them to do the same. So this is a great community of where I offer some helpful tips and strategies. My program of the same name, Transition to Destination, is where we dive deep, right? This is where we take off the mask. We have been wearing masks long before COVID ever started.
Yes, that's true. That's a good one. Right, we have.
It is completely true. So this is where we actually get down and dirty. I want to work with the women who are ready to work. They're ready to finally put themselves first. And so what we're going to talk about, self-awareness, as I said before, we're going to dive into that. That's really part of the first module. And then we're going to talk about your character, your identity. We're going to talk about borders and boundaries and how to set that. What can we eliminate from our lives? And one of the biggest things that when I talked about earlier, how we check off the boxes, we as soon as out the gate, as soon as we graduate high school, we're so excited, right? We have this inner flame that's like, whoa, ready to take off over the world. And then after you do all of those things, right, that inner flame gets a little dimmed. So what we're going to talk about is what excites you. What is your big why? What is your purpose? You know, sometimes that just gets blurred. It gets fuzzy because we don't think about it. You know, at this stage in our lives, sometimes we get so busy. Life gets in the way. So we're going to really dust off the cobwebs. We're going to turn the focus inward, and we're going to dig deep. Now, this program, I did mention the modules that I'll go over, and, you know, that's going to include, let me tell you, it's going to include some homework. I've got activities. I've got, you know, real stuff. This is not smoke and mirrors, right? It's not like I'm inviting you to join me in this program, and at the end, you're going to be magically this different person. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I'm going to give you the education and the tools and the strategies you need to be an improved version of yourself. But what I need is a commitment from the women who want to join, right? I need my ladies who are like, you know what? Yes, everything you said, I am that person. You know what? After you're done with this program, Nina, you're going to have a better self-awareness, a heightened self-awareness. You're going to have better relationships, improved mood, better communication, productivity. I mean, the list goes on and on. You are going to be an improved version of yourself if you commit to the work.
So how long of a program is this, and how do they get started? And are you doing some kind of a special? Because I know this is kind of like your introduction, and then you have something bigger that you're talking about later, right?
Yes, exactly. So what I'm doing is a 4-week live. And so we're going to do this on Facebook. I have a Facebook private group. And so they will be, once they register, they would be invited into this group. I'm going to host it on Tuesdays. The program begins on July 7th. It's going to be 1 hour. And it's okay if they can't attend live, because it'll be recorded, so they can still get the work. They can download the workbook, the homework, all of that stuff, so they can keep on track. And then at the end of the 4th week, on that Friday, we're going to do a live Q&A. And yeah, and you know, yes, there's a lot of work, but we're going to have a lot of fun too. We're going to learn and grow together. And this, normally, Nina, this program is priced at $397. But considering everything that's going on right now, especially this year, I mean, you and I have talked about this, like, I feel really strongly about offering this half price right now. And so I am going to offer my program at $197 for the next 7 days.
All that's amazing.
Yes.
Wow.
For the next 7 days.
It's exciting because I think this is just a really good approach for women, especially who just know they needed a change or they're just not really sure how to do it. And they needed somebody to kind of hold their hand and keep them accountable and say, okay, we can do this together. They don't feel alone. And, you know, no one wants to do something alone. It's overwhelming. It's scary. It's new. It's change. No one really likes that. But to have somebody come alongside and then other women that can really relate, that to me is priceless. And the fact that you're giving away like $197 is like amazing. I mean, that's very generous. So how do they get started with you? Is there a place that they can sign up and start? And how does this, are you going to send them emails? How does this work?
So yeah, so in this recording, you know, I will put a link down there and that'll be my special pricing link for the 197. But Nina, I feel so passionately about my work and about my mission that in addition to even offering it at that half off rate, I want to work with the first 10 ladies that sign up. Meaning that in addition to the group aspect, you're going to get private time with me so that I can walk you along this path. So that I can help you with your customized, personalized, your questions, your path, and help you to really become that person you want to become. One more thing that I wanted to talk about with the program, and I do believe some women can relate to this, is part of my personal mission, the thing that gives me all the feels, right, is helping women to make generational changes. Now, what that means, right? Sometimes we look at our mothers, our grandmothers, our fathers, you know, anybody who was, you know, a role model for us. And there may be things that we absolutely love about them. And there may be things that we don't like about them. And maybe we see them in ourselves. Maybe we see those same type of things, you know, generating, and we try hard to resist it. What I want to do, especially with this program, is help women to identify those things, help them to work through them so that they can become that positive role model so that their children, when they're at this age, they don't have to worry about unlearning or undoing any of the lessons that they learned. You know, we talk about an imprint period in this program about, you know, between the ages of 3 and 11, that's when we're most susceptible to this pre-programming. So I won't nerd out too much on the program and all of this stuff because I love talking about it, but it's just so good. And I just hope that some women will be able to resonate with what I said and they want to come in here. You know, come on, ladies, let's get down in the mud. Let's do the work. And I guarantee you are going to be a different person coming out of this in 4 weeks if you are committed to the work. I'm offering it at a low price, so I don't want people to just think, oh, it's a low price, I'll come in, just kind of drop in and see what it's all about. I'm offering it at a low price so more people can jump in, do the work, and get the transformation that they need.
And also, this is kind of another opportunity to kind of see what women are needing as well. So it's something that you're putting out there, but also you're building a larger course, like an online academy. And so this is kind of a way that you were saying to kind of just see, you know, what's going on in the field, what women are looking for, really helping them, you know, gather what they need so that it's really more applicable to what they're looking for going forward in their journey with what you're talking about.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because it's not cookie cutter. It's everybody has a different journey and different needs. And so what I want to do, this is also, you know, I'm learning and growing as I go along this process too.
Right.
You know, exactly. And so I'm looking for women who are willing to do that, and let's do it together.
Yeah. So guys, thank you so much, Rida. Amazing woman. I told you guys, you're going to love her. You're going to see a lot of her. She will be on big stages. I guarantee it. And you can say, hey, I worked with her before. She was this. Now she's way up here. So, and I guarantee her prices will be a lot higher. So now is the time to work with her one-on-one. I mean, my gosh, she's giving you all this plus one-on-one with her. That's like insane. Girl, that's awesome. So you guys really take advantage of this. It's going to be amazing. We also want your feedback, your comments. We want to know what you're looking for. We want to know, you know, what you're thinking is going to be a great opportunity for you on working with Rida and kind of going forward. So make sure you sign up on that link. It's a discounted rate. Is there a time frame? Does it expire at any time? When does it expire?
It's going to expire 7 days from today. And then it will go back up to the $397 price.
Okay, guys, you got 7 days. The first 10 people, sign up now. Thank you again, Rida. You have a wonderful day. And guys, thank you so much.
Actually, Nina, before you go, I did promise in the beginning that I would give my 3 top self-awareness tips. So I want to make sure for the ladies who stayed on for the duration, thank you. So one of the key things that I like to offer, especially in my private coaching, is I tell people to draw a timeline of your life, you know, all of your life experiences, right? So, and look at your highs, look at your lows, and pay attention to how you handle that and how it made you feel. And so that's just a really good self-awareness tip, because sometimes we forget everything that we've gone through. And sometimes it serves as a good reminder. The second thing I like to offer is identify who your or what your emotional kryptonite is. So yeah, when you think about that, right? So sometimes, which is interesting, sometimes it could be something or someone. For example, like sometimes if you have contention with your mother or somebody in your relationship like that.
Buttons, don't they?
Right. You know, sometimes they can say something and then you listen defensively.
Triggers, yeah.
Exactly. Whereas maybe your best friend said the exact same thing and you laugh about it.
That's good. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, that's a good tip. I like that.
For sure. So identify those, and that helps you to become a.
I want to take notes. What's going on here? Tell me more.
The last tip that I'd like to offer is just clarify your values. You know, like I talk about a lot, our younger version of ourselves, right? We have all these values and we're so excited. You know, check in with yourself and see if those values are still the same. Maybe they've changed a little bit, and just make sure the way that you're choosing to live your life and the decisions that you're making and the way that you're showing up in all your roles align with those values. So those are my top 3 favorite tips.
Wow, that is awesome. Girl, you've given us a lot today. I'm excited to hear more about you and more from you. And guys, seriously, sign up. This is awesome stuff. Thank you again, Rita. Take care. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.